Okay, so today, a new format. I want to do a conversation with Chat GPT about the chakras, specifically the heart chakra, the throat chakra, the third eye, and the crown chakra, and how these relate to communication with the divine and communication into the world and creation, manifestation. These are inquiries that I'm wondering about. So far, what I've gotten with ChatGPT, I wanted to ask it if it could look at Joan Harrigan's book, Kundalini Vidya, because I've heard it's a good book about the Kundalini tradition, but it says it doesn't have access to that book. So I asked it if there's any related books that it could access and answer using as resources, and it suggested these 5 books: The Serpent Power by Arthur Avalon, Kundalini, The Evolutionary Energy of Man by Gopi Krishna. I think I heard of that one recently as well. Kundalini Tantra by Swami Satyananda Saraswati. The Chakras by C.W. Ledbetter, and Wheels of Life by Anodia Judith. I've read another book by her. It was called Western Psychology, Eastern Body, or something like that. Western Mind, Eastern Body, something like that. And it was coupling Western psychology with the wisdom of the chakras from the yogic traditions. So it's going to use these 5 books as references, and then we can just ask it questions, and it's going to use those as the resources that it's pulling information from. So I specifically want to ask about the heart, throat, third eye, and crown chakras, and how they relate to communication, both with the divine and into the world in a creative sense. So maybe we'll just start there and get kind of a general answer overview, see what it comes up with, and we can kind of dive into more details from there. Let's see. That's a powerful and insightful focus. Well, thank you. Here's a breakdown of the heart, throat, third eye, and crown chakras in relation to communication, both in terms of divine connection and creative expression. Heart chakra, anahata, communication through love and feeling, element air. Location, center of the chest, mantra yam. Function, love, compassion, deep connection. Divine communication. The heart chakra acts as the bridge between the lower, physical/emotional, and upper, spiritual/mental chakras. It allows intuitive knowing through love, not intellectual understanding, but deep felt wisdom. Mystics often describe hearing the divine as a feeling in the heart rather than literal words. Creative communication. Authentic self-expression that is felt and resonates with others. Writing, music, poetry, and art that comes from the heart are infused with universal love. Okay, so this is a pretty basic overview of the different areas. So we can keep going through it. Let's see. Throat chakra. I mean, if you're curious about these ones, you can find that on your own. Refines communication so it becomes aligned with truth and clarity. So the throat has to do with aligning with truth and clarity. In many spiritual traditions, the voice is sacred. Mantras, chanting, and prayer are powerful ways to connect with the divine. So using the voice to connect with the higher self, with the divine. When activated, one may feel guided to speak truthfully and courageously. Courageous communication. Creative communication. Expression through words, singing, public speaking, or any medium where sound and vibration are key. When blocked, it can result in fear of speaking, self-censorship, or dishonesty. Self-censorship is something that's very applicable to my experience, it seems. When open, creativity flows freely and words, sounds resonate with clarity and with truth. So it has to do with the free-flowing creativity and communication and that resonance that sounds true. Third eye chakra, ajna, inner vision and higher perception, element light between the eyebrows, om, function, intuition, insight, perception beyond the physical. It's the seat of intuition. The third eye chakra allows us to perceive beyond the five senses. Okay, beyond the five senses. Seeing with Christ's eyes is what the Course would sometimes say. Visions, dreams, and deep insight into the symbolic nature of reality are common when this chakra is open. So seeing that reality is actually symbolic. Everything is symbolic. In Kundalini traditions, a fully activated Ajna chakra is said to allow direct perception of divine truth beyond mental concepts. Creative communication. The ability to see beyond form and translate vision into art, poetry, or mystical teachings. Creativity flows from symbolic, archetypal, and non-linear ways of thinking, seeing connections that others do not. A blocked third eye may lead to creative stagnation, lack of vision, or over-rationalization. And finally, the crown chakra, pure divine connection and cosmic consciousness. Top of the head, mantra is silence, or om. Transcendence, unity, divine wisdom. It's pure awareness where ego dissolves and one enters a state of divine communion. In a way, the crown chakra isn't even really a chakra. It's just like the pure connection into unified consciousness. Instead of receiving words or symbols, the communication here is direct knowing, like downloading entire insights in a single moment. In deep states of meditation or samadhi, one experiences unity with the divine beyond separation. Creative communication. Creativity flows in an effortless, inspired, and transcendent way, like divine revelation. Artists, poets, or mystics may feel like a vessel through which divine wisdom is expressed. A blocked crown chakra may lead to feeling disconnected, uninspired, or spiritually lost. How these chakras work together in communication. Heart chakra feels and knows what is true. Throat chakra speaks and expresses the truth with clarity. Third eye sees beyond illusions and perceives deeper meaning. Crown chakra opens to pure inspiration from the divine. For divine communication, a balanced system allows for clear messages, deep intuition, and truthful expression. For creative expression, these chakras channel inspiration from the higher realms into tangible forms. So, does this resonate with you? Would you like me to go deeper into any of these areas? I'm curious if you pulled this information from the aforementioned books / texts specifically, because that's what I wanted to do. If not, that is what I would like you to begin to do. Directly, yeah, I didn't think that was getting from directly from the books, and it wasn't. So it's going to go through these books, searching the web. So hopefully this will get kind of more interesting answers. Those were good overviews of the chakras, and as I'm reading them, you can kind of feel into your own energy body and kind of get that experiential download of what it's talking. Drawing directly from the text. Here's an overview. Focusing on the roles in communication and the divine creative expression. Oh, it's taking a little bit longer. So this is largely the same kind of information. So let's see if we can get more direct in terms of what I actually want to know. I think the throat here. Communication, self-expression, truth. According to Kundalini Tantra by Swami Satyananda Saraswati, the Visuddha chakra is considered the gateway to higher consciousness, facilitating profound purification and enabling contact with higher realms of awareness. In the chakras, notes that the throat chakra is associated with the 16 vowels of the Sanskrit alphabet, symbolizing the purity and clarity of expression. An open Vishuddha chakra allows for articulate and truthful communication essential for creative endeavors. Oh. How does pure awareness or transcendental consciousness in its purity relate to each of these four chakras? Please pull the most relevant information from the texts. No need to reference where they came from. See how that works. Pure awareness in the four chakras, the heart, unstruck sound of awareness. Pure awareness in the heart center is experienced as an unstruck vibration, a silent yet ever-present hum of existence. This chakra represents a balance point between the lower and upper chakras, where the personal self begins to dissolve into something greater. In its purest form, awareness here is love without attachment, universal, boundless, and self-sustaining. The heart, free from fear and grasping, becomes an open channel for divine presence to flow into the world. So the heart is often focal point of the yogic traditions and spiritual traditions, that if we can live from the heart, that's kind of like the balancing point between the human and the sacred, and allows for the divine to interplay in our reality. So that's a nice description there. The unstruck sound, the unstruck vibration. Throat, the purity of awareness in expression. At the throat, transcendental consciousness manifests as the purification of all vibrations into their essence. When awareness is fully established here, speech becomes effortless, truthful, and resonant with divine will, rather than personal identity. So resonant with divine will, rather than personal identity. Before, our throat is being used to communicate the personal identity and its limitation. The act of speaking or expressing becomes spontaneous, arising directly from the silent core of awareness. Sound, purified of distortion, is no longer tied to personal ambition or insecurity, but moves as an extension of stillness itself. So the throat becomes an extension of stillness flowing into expression, into vibration through the throat, which is, of course, a vibratory mechanism. Third eye, ajna. Awareness as direct perception. At the third eye, awareness shifts from concept to direct seeing. Here, transcendental consciousness does not merely observe, but knows in an immediate, self-evident way. Duality dissolves, and perception is no longer filtered through thoughts or senses, but is recognized as the interplay of consciousness with itself. The world is not seen as separate, but as the unfolding of awareness in form. This is where divine guidance, free from mental noise, becomes clear and unobstructed. So this is one of the things I was wondering about. Guidance becomes clear when we become free of the mental noise of the separate self, so we can hear the guidance of the inner awareness, purity, the inner source, the higher self. This is something I've been really curious about lately, trying to tune into guidance. And because there's still so much kind of emotional and mental chatter in the body-mind system, sometimes you're really wading through a lot of like false data and distraction and trying to figure out what in here is actually guidance, you know. And so this is clarifying that when the third eye is opening, then we can tune into divine guidance without so much distracting clutter. And then the crown, Sahasrara, probably saying that wrong, the infinite dissolution into awareness. At the crown, pure awareness stands alone, unconditioned beyond form, movement, or distinction. Here, consciousness is no longer experienced through a center, but as the totality itself, beyond personal identity, beyond energy, beyond even the witnessing function. There is no longer a self having an experience of awareness. Awareness is all that remains. It is the dissolution of all chakras, all movement, all sound into the silent expanse of being. So the crown chakra is often what like the non-dual teachers are pointing us to. It's like they go right to the finish line and say, you are pure awareness, you are beyond the self, you are everywhere, emptiness, space, infinite, pure, unbounded. That's all pointing to like the crown chakra experience. But of course, to become like a fully embodied version of awakening, we need to bring all of that insight from the crown chakra down into expression through the other centers in the body, so that we become like a functional communication vessel of that wisdom. So maybe that's the next question. Can you give some insight from these texts about the descending, let's say ascending versus descending movement of consciousness through these chakras? I'm gonna add a little section here. In the Law of One text, they talk about a balancing point between the upward and downward flowing consciousness as the place. They talk about a balancing point between the upward and downward flowing streams of consciousness in the chakra system as a measure of where one's current experience is centered. I hope that question makes some sense. I think it does. We'll see what it comes up with. Ascending versus descending consciousness in the chakras. In the text on Kundalini and chakras, both ascending and descending movements of consciousness are recognized, often mirroring each other as two complementary flows. The ascending movement, liberation, expansion. The rising energy flows the path of Kundalini awakening, moving from the base, Muladhara, between the crown toward the crown, Sahasrara. This is the process of transcendence, moving from material entanglement to pure awareness. The upward flow dissolves individual identity, purifies distortions, and leads to unity with the formless source. This is kind of the classic upward flowing transcendent path of spirituality. Descending movement, embodiment, manifestation. The descending flow represents Shakti returning from Shiva, bringing the realized awareness back into the body, speech, and action. It allows divine consciousness to express itself through the heart, mind, and voice, rather than escaping into formlessness. This movement integrates realization into daily life, grounding wisdom into physical existence. Balancing point, where awareness is centered. The law of one describes the balance between these flows as an indication of where one's consciousness is centered. The traditional chakra text express a similar concept, heart, anahata, as the midpoint. Many texts describe the heart as the central pivot between the rising and descending energies. So yeah, this is the heart as a sort of a special center, an important pivot point. Below, identity is shaped by personal survival and emotional attachments. Above, awareness expands beyond individual selfhood. If consciousness settles here, one experiences divine love without leaving the world behind. Throat, as the gateway of purification. When the upward moving energy reaches the throat, it is refined into pure vibration, free from distortion. If consciousness settles here, one's expression aligns with divine truth, yet there may still be a sense of separation from the fully non-dual state. Third eye, as the point of transition. This is where personal will dissolves into universal will. If awareness remains here, perception is no longer bound by identity, but one may still perceive a distinction between subject and object. Crown, Sahasrara, as the final ascent. The peak of upward flow where individual consciousness disappears into pure awareness. However, if no descending return occurs, this state remains beyond the world, silent, blissful, but unexpressed. So, silent sage. Finding the balance. When too much energy rises without grounding, one may feel detached, dissociated, or unintegrated. When too much energy is descending without rising, one may feel lost in material concerns, unable to access higher awareness. The most stable state occurs when both ascending transcendence and descending embodiment meet in equanimity, allowing the divine awareness to flow freely both up and down. This dynamic balance point shifts depending on one's present state of evolution, always reflecting where energy is most harmonized in the moment. I'm curious about how the centers relate to one another, and specifically maybe starting at the heart and the throat. Do the texts describe the relational dynamics between these two centers, specifically how they are felt in the body and the places in between them where the two vibrations interplay off one another? Let's see what it comes up with in that query. The interplay of the heart and throat chakras. The text describe a dynamic relationship between the heart and the throat, as the energy moving between them refines emotional experience into higher expression. This transition is subtle and deeply felt in the body, particularly in the upper chest, collarbones, and base of the throat, where the two vibrations interweave. Heart, the depth of feeling and connection. The heart is the seat of universal love. We've been through this. It radiates warmth, openness, and connection, but can also hold wounds, grief, or suppressed emotions. When consciousness is centered here, expression is often felt as a silent resonance before it takes form in words. The throat is where raw emotional energy is purified into clear, intentional sound. It governs the release of unspoken truths, the articulation of love, and the transmissions of higher inspiration. Blockages here often manifest as difficulty expressing emotion, fear of speaking one's truth, or a constriction in the throat and jaw. The in-between. Between the heart and the throat, there is an intermediary field of resonance that can be physically and energetically perceived. A subtle, fluttering pressure or expansion in the upper chest and collarbones when emotion rises towards speech. A feeling of tightness or resistance in the throat if expression is blocked, especially when trying to speak vulnerable truths. A deep, open resonance in the upper chest when heart-centered truth flows effortlessly into words. When the heart is open but the throat is blocked, one may feel deep emotions but struggle to articulate them, leading to a sense of suffocation or unexpressed longing. When the throat is open but the heart is closed, expression may become overly intellectualized, detached, or lack true feeling. I was kind of wondering about that. If you could speak almost more from the top down without the heart being in play. When both centers are in harmony, words arise naturally from the heart's wisdom, carrying both clarity and emotional depth. Chanting, humming, or toning can help bridge the gap between these two centers, activating the unspoken vibratory field between them. Silence also plays a key role. Sometimes pausing before speaking allows the heart's wisdom to fully inform the words that emerge. Good tip. Okay. I think that's enough exploring here for now. What I'll do is picture of the chakras, images. That's enough information. Maybe we can do a guided meditation to sort of close out the session. And enjoy some integration of this information into our present moment, felt experience. Okay. We'll have a little visual inspiration here. Okay. So just tuning into the body. I think the breath starting at the base of the seat where you're sitting, the feet on the floor. Allowing relaxation, openness. I think we'll use the crown as the starting point of today's meditation. We can open into the silent source of pure awareness, felt to be above the head, but also everywhere, like space, unlimited, unbounded, pure, no beginning, no end. Just check and see. Does this awareness have a beginning? No. Does it have an end? No. Is it in one place or is it everywhere? Does it have an edge, a size, a shape? Oh, it's infinitely unbounded and pure. From this pure awareness that we are, most essentially, allow it to kind of form its way down into a thread, down into the top of the skull and into the third eye. Chakra in the center of the skull, place behind the eyes, between the two temples, right in the center of the brain between the two hemispheres. Feel how it's in the center between the two sides, and also in the center front to back, and also in the center up and down in the skull. And let the breath gently massage this place in the center of the skull, noticing any tensions here, and allowing the crown chakra, pure awareness, to flow its way down into the top of the head and into the third eye. It's a very blissful interaction, interweaving of intelligence into the third eye. And just allowing the third eye to open through and relax through any tensions that are habitually being held there. Noticing how thought energy creates a sort of tension in the skull. Me and mine and what I'm going to do, what I did before, and what I'm going to do later. Just letting all of that relax. And now feeling how that same light energy weaves its way down through the behind the nasal passages into the throat, allowing a swallow, allowing that sweetness to flow its way down into the throat chakra, where the pure vibration of silence expresses its way into the vibration of voice, feeling the sweetness of pure consciousness as it interacts down through the body-mind system into this place where thought becomes expressed vibration, and then down into the heart center where the personal self and the transcendent self meet, the centering point of balance in the human organism, and just allowing awareness to settle down here, feeling the softness, the airy quality, noticing any stagnant or dense emotional patterning here, and just welcoming it, and just allowing your awareness to come more into the center of it, and allowing the breath to move through the heart space, and feel how the heart creates this beautiful energetic field around the body that surrounds us all the way around, including the feet and the root chakra and the sacral chakra and the solar plexus chakra. It's all included in the heart. Such a beautiful place to be in the heart, so held in our own compassionate understanding and in the softness of our own presence. And a few gentle breaths here. And from the heart, we just open and open and open, and find that in the center of the heart and in the space surrounding the body, the heart is not separate from the crown chakra, pure awareness, infinite field of unchanging, unborn presence. The heart is not separate from that, is not different. And the throat, in its very center essence, is not different from the pure awareness of the crown chakra, the unborn, undying field of pure consciousness. Is not different from the throat. And the third eye, in its very center, is non-different from that pure awareness that I am, as it opens into its deepest essence, knowing it is the exact same truth that the crown chakra represents, of that pure, unbounded truth of what we are. And may this pure awareness be balanced and expressed through these bodies in ever more clear and meaningful and fruitful ways that bring heaven to earth and bring earth to heaven through these human physiologies, that we may have this divine mission of being the sacred bridge between earth and heaven. Om Shanti Shanti, Shanti. Okay, thank you so much for joining, for all that are here now or later, and I look forward to connecting next time. Maybe we can explore the lower chakras, which are, of course, of equal importance and significance. Goodbye.